Hello, aspirants and learners. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Miss Electoli, Faculty of English at Edufy, and today we're going to talk about the very important topic of error spotting. In our previous video, we talked about how it is important to focus on certain topics and certain subjects, especially regarding conjunctions and prepositions and verbs, and what are the tips to remember when you're trying to solve this type of questions. And today we have the opportunity to solve this type of question. So without any further ado, we shall move on. The first question that we will try to solve today is this. It is going to ask you, this type of questions will be asked in exams, and they're going to ask you to find the error in the sentence given above. So why don't we try so? Since my mother was angry, so I did not utter a word. Since my mother was angry, so I did not utter a word. In this sentence, if you find an error, which one is that error? Or do you think that there is no error? There is an error in this sentence. And what is that error? Option number C. Why do you think that is an error? You may ask me. So the error is the fact that the words since and so cannot be written together. Since and so are joining two phrases or two clauses. My mother was angry and I did not utter a word. Two separate clauses have been joined by the word since and so. So they are considered as conjunctions now. They perform the function of joining. Now in that case, since and so are not appropriate conjunctions here. Combinations of so cannot be written with since. So therefore the error is here. Since does not come with a combination of so, therefore we cannot write them together in any sentence to perform the function of a conjunction. Therefore the error is in option C. If that is clear, we shall move on to the next question. Question number 2. The economic depression is looming large, not only over the first world countries, but also over the third world countries. Now in that case, if you read the sentence, this might seem like a very long sentence, but if you focus on just the reading part and read it thoroughly, you will find if there is an error, and if not, then you can move on. So let's see. The economic depression is looming large, not only over the first world countries, but also over the third world countries. We see the usage of the conjunction not only, but also, which is an appropriate conjunction. Again, we see the usage of prepositions over and the usage of the verb is. Now, accordingly, if you look at the sentence, complete sentence, the verb has been used correctly and the preposition has been used correctly. How we're talking about how the economic depression is looming over the countries, right? So therefore preposition has been used correctly and the verb has also been used correctly because we're talking about economic depression, which is singular. Therefore the verb is also singular. So in that case, according to the research that we've done, we have discovered that there is no error in this sentence. So which option do you choose? Option number D. No error. So this is how you will try to solve this type of questions. If there is no error in the sentence, directly move on to the option that says no error. And we shall move on to the next one, and that is the third question. By the time the corn was harvested, the grass seed covered the ground almost entirely. In this sentence, we are going to focus on the verb. And what is the verb? Harvested and covered. But in this sentence, we're talking about two actions being performed within one time frame. And that is in the past form. Harvested, covered. So what is happening here? We have a past tense. However, is this a simple past tense? I'm pretty sure it's not, right? When you read it, we know that this is not a simple past tense. Why? Because there is actions being performed consecutively, one after the other. When we talk about action that is past and another action being followed, then we consider them as past perfect, right? So in that case, we will look at the first action. By the time the corn was harvested, what has happened? The seed had covered the ground almost entirely. That is how you will write this type of sentences, because we always, when we say past perfect tense, we always have the subject plus the auxiliary verb had plus the word in the third form, that is verb 3, right? So that is how we will write a sentence. Therefore, the error is in which part? A, B, C. It is in option number C. If you see the sentence, that is the correct usage. How will you read the sentence? By the time the corn was harvested, the grass seed had covered the ground almost entirely. This talks about how an action had been performed in the past and one another action has followed the other action as well. So consecutive action has been mentioned through this sentence, therefore past perfect tense. If you're clear about this, we move on to the next one, that is question number 4. Being that he is interested in getting himself examined by a heart specialist, we must try our best to take him to a reputed doctor. Please focus on the words themselves. In this sentence, the beginning of the sentence makes a little bit of a confusion, right? Makes us confused a little bit. So why don't we focus on the context of the sentence? What does the sentence trying to tell? What is the sentence trying to tell us? It's trying to tell us that somebody is interested in getting examined. Yes? So in that case, this is an action that is what? Not static. It's something that is moving, interested, right? So therefore, the word being. The word being here does not make sense, mainly because it talks about the state of a person. Now, when I say state of a person, it means something that is static. That means no movement. There's no change in the action, right? However, when we look at this, we are seeing that there is a movement in the action. Getting himself, what? Examined by a heart specialist. Therefore, what do we see? There is no usage or no need for this type of sentence or this type of words within the sentence. So what do? All we have to do is identify the error and take the right answer. Where is the error? Option number B. How do you write the sentence correctly? He is interested in getting himself examined by a heart specialist. We must try our best to take him to a reputed doctor. That's it. Simple as that, right? So we don't have to complicate the sentence by writing being that. It does not make any sense within the sentence because we already have the verbs ing here. So we don't need that in addition as well. Next and final question. Question number 5. Neither the chips, which were cheaper, nor the pizza interested the kids. In this sentence, it's very important to know what is being used here. First is neither. The chips which were cheaper. That means this portion of the sentence, that is, chips which were cheaper, is one part of the sentence. The second part of the sentence is the pizza interested the kids, right? So these two parts are being joined by what words? Neither and nor, right? So what are they? They are conjunctions. When we talk about conjunctions, we see the different forms of conjunctions, right? And accordingly, we see the usage of not only, but also either or, neither nor. So is that the correct usage of conjunction? Neither nor? Yes. So therefore, what is the error in this sentence? No error. The right answer is option number A. That means the sentence has no error, mainly because the conjunctions used here has been correctly used within the sentence, joining what? The independent clause with the dependent clause together without forming any kind of negative within the sentence. So therefore, what do we say? The answer is in option A. So these are the 5 questions that we have tried to solve today. I hope you've learned something through this video, and please join me again for another such interesting videos. Thank you.